All right, I am calling Village of Cross Plains Plan Commission meeting of November 3rd, 2025 to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cree? Here. Commissioner Hillenbrand?
Here.
Trustee Brochus?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Thusius?
Here.
Trustee Kettlebeater? President Langfeld?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're at public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone to address the Plan Commission on any issue. Please observe the time limit of 3 minutes. While the Plan Commission encourages input from residents, it may not discuss or act on any issue that is not duly noticed on the agenda. All right, do we have anybody here for public comment? Okay, Michael, come on up.
So yeah, this is just a question or concern concerning the development that we're gonna be talking about tonight, the final plat. It's one thing inside, I don't know if you guys are looking at it in the covenants. On page 10 concerning signs, there was a section down there that said any sign and associated landscaping or lighting placed in the entrances of the subdivision shall be maintained by the association. There's a mark there that says to be confirmed. I'm trying to figure out, I mean, on the entrances, there's this big long oval thing. Is that in the village right of way? Does the village own that? Who owns that? Is someone else gonna be maintaining it? It's so weird. Because it says the association might be maintaining it or maintaining a sign there, or if it's village property, what's happening with it? It's a nebulous thing on the plat that I can't figure out. It's an area, it's by the entrances, so I don't know what's going on there. Other thing I want to say is what I said before. I'm not a fan of this plat. I think that the 12 driveways that empty out on the thinnest are going to just exacerbate traffic problems later on. I think it should have been an internal design, and I think it's just going to cause problems in the long run with traffic. Secondly, with the lack of parkland and conservancy in this phase and possibly other phases, there's a lot of hilled tree sides over there that would be fantastic conservancy for the village that should be taken into account whether or not we're going to get them later in future phases. Not receiving any of that land doesn't feel like Cross Plains to me. We generally try to get hillside conservancy areas that are well treated. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Is there anybody on the internet?
Is there anyone online? Jeff, go ahead. Please state your name and address.
Okay. Jeff Davis, 8920 Airport Road. Couple things. I guess everybody saw the meeting minutes or whatever that Mike did and his modified ones. A lot of my comments are in there regarding the entrance and exit onto Thinnison Airport Road, which I totally disagree with. I would also like to point out to the village and the trustees and the committee members, if they haven't read chapter 83 of your own village ordinances, and specifically 83.02, that any extraterritorial plat approval jurisdiction for the village is promote public health, safety, morals, propriety, and also to lessen congestion in the streets and highways. That's in your own ordinances or whatever. My two comments tonight are, number one, I come from a real estate and developer background, family background. I do understand that if it went out to 14, that it delays a little bit of time for the developer, and also there is an added expense. But, you know, this subdivision is going to create millions of dollars. So I don't think the expense is that big of an issue. It's nobody has gone forward to DOT to ask the question and find out. Maybe DOT is going to say, no, you can't do it. If DOT says that, then it's a done issue. The other issue is that originally you had a plat map up years ago when I worked for the village in the conference room that had the Evergreen Road going all the way out to Airport Road, and you did not have an exit onto near Marvin Court, Innocent Airport Road. I don't know what happened to that, but I would have expected that the developer again would have contacted the new owner, Marquardt, I believe his name is, that and asked him if, the two of you could have worked together, not to say to develop his, but you could have put the road all the way out to Airport Road. And that did not happen either. So I guess I feel for all the residents on Airport Road and Thinner Street that this is getting pushed through. And I would really ask those questions that uh, take a look at your own section or whatever for minimizing traffic. And the traffic that we talked about at the meeting, you've got a problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
I don't see any other hands raised.
All right, we'll go to general business. Number one, approval of the minutes from the October 2025 Plan Commission meeting. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. So moved. Number two, discussion regarding ordinance 21.11 chickens and ducks. If you want, yes, can you come up and turn on that mic if you want, if you could, please, yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
well, the current ordinance states that there should be a limit of 6 chickens or ducks, stating that it's a public nuisance if there's any more. So I don't know what it is about going to 7 ducks makes it a public nuisance and 6 ducks isn't a public nuisance. For us, we have a family of 5 and we purchased 10 chickens thinking there would be some casualties along the way. By the time they went out to their coop, and we learned that, well, none of them broke, and we kept all of them, and we have the adequate number to feed our family of 5. So then there was a complaint that we in fact had the 10 chickens, so we wanted to bring this forward to modify it. We originally were hoping to limit or to remove the limit of 6, but got feedback as we went through the community and removed some of the limits on distance, but added some reasonableness based on recommendations from the Humane Society and other ordinance on adequate square foot for healthy flock.
All right. I can give you a little bit of background, because that number was not just pulled out of the air.
Okay.
So it was about 4 years ago, the citizens brought up that they would like to have chickens in the village here. So we did quite a bit of research on what other communities that allowed it, what their numbers were, and they were from 2 to 4. So we passed an ordinance for up to 4 chickens with all the restrictions that you saw in there. Well, then about 1.5 years ago, a young woman came to the board with an incredible amount of research showing that for the health of the chickens, they're a flock bird, and 6 is the number that you should have to make them less stressful and more homey, whatever. And believe it or not, there was quite a bit of research on this. So at that time, we then upped the number to 6, and we added where they could be ducks, because people came in and talked about the advantages of eating duck eggs.
Sure.
So there has been quite a bit of study and research done on this topic. So that's where the 6 came from, and that I want to say it was 1.5 years ago, maybe, that we passed that. So that's the history of that. There's a number of things of changes that you're making to the ordinance. So when we do something like that and there needs to be an enforcement, it's got to be pretty clear. We want it to be very objective
Mhm.
on what the definitions are if someone is breaking the ordinance, because that falls on the administrator, because it's zoning and enforcement is police. And we don't want them spending the whole time
Of course.
checking on chicken coops and duck coops and stuff like that. So the reason that to define nuisance, that was the definition. Anything over 6 is a nuisance. That's easy to define, easy to prove, and that's where it came from. And that's where in your first paragraph on the changes, when you say ensure humane care, protects public health and minimizes nuisance to neighbors and property. What are the benchmarks to enforce that? That's, so when you say humane care,
Yeah.
so doing some research that I've done on this, you know, you can leave ducks, I mean, chickens lay 200 to 300 eggs a year, depending on breed and age. But you can stimulate that in the wintertime by leaving lights on in their coop, but it then puts stress on the chicken. They don't lay eggs for as long. It shortens their egg laying life, I guess, I don't remember the terms. So some people might find that inhumane. Others might say, no, it's all right. So when you put that in here, what are the benchmarks for humane care?
Well, for humane care, well, we would say, from the research I did, I don't know, this person probably did more research than I did. But from what I understand, it had different recommendations on like the enclosed space versus the exterior space. So as far as recommendations for like the full amount of space, I also wanted to keep it simple and not defining inside space or outside space, or that's averaging. The exterior space is more like 8 to 10. And the inside space is more limited with a max of 6 square feet.
Or the maximum, when you say in, are you talking about in the coop or in the pen?
Like, I'm defining this as one space for simplicity.
Okay,
Recommendations where it was like places with 2 to 4 is that interior coop space versus the entire.
okay,
If you're considering the whole structure, the exterior space, they'd say 8 to 10 feet and interior 4 to 6 feet. So
okay.
if that's, of course, you know, the more space better, but people live on smaller lots and they're not gonna have something beyond the size of the space, so.
Right.
It's like managing the healthy flock and taking into consideration the needs of the home.
Okay,
Chickens are great, but when I said to my dad, I'm so worried about how much space they had, and he grew up in a chicken farm, and he said, honey, it's fine.
okay,
They used to market caged eggs.
yeah. And how about protects public health? What are you referring, and how would someone judge that or determine that?
Oh, well, protein for the home.
No, it says protects public health. This is in an ordinance, so it would be an enforcement. If someone did not do that, I would think they would be in violation of this ordinance. I'm trying to define what that means.
Sorry, this is in the email? Oh.
No, it's in you're
sorry.
trying to change the ordinance. That's what we're gonna be looking at is the ordinance, and then it goes to the board. So we have to understand what you mean in the ordinance, because that's what people are gonna be, if this would pass, that's the standard we're holding people to. So I don't know what that standard is. That's what I'm trying to get.
Oh, I mean, I'm just pulling that from the Humane Society website on like the recommended size. So if I was to, you could simplify this, right? To remove those pieces. I mean, I'm just trying to set a parameter. I agree with you for like not being a nuisance and work for the community that you would just limit you'd have a clearly defined number, and I would prefer to change the definition. I could do without the verbiage of conducting in a manner that ensures humane care. That's just based on the sizing of the.
And don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with it. I just need to know what that is defined, because someone's gotta enforce it.
Yeah.
And I don't want her to make the decide if it's humane care or not.
Sure, yeah, I mean,
She's not an expert on chickens, so.
what I would like to see is the verbiage in B and the number limit, those two lines explicitly to strike out the 6 bird limit and add that. The rest of it. And the, the first sentence,
Okay,
the
so,
keeping of more than 6 chickens in A and then keeping of more than 6 chickens in B1.
okay, so I guess we'll have to play with that a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, it's not like it's bad, don't get me wrong, I
Yeah.
think we should have I just, when you put it in there, I thought there might be a standard that we're
I
looking
mean,
at.
it protects public health, like it goes along with, you can't have them be free range and
Well, we
Well,
do
yeah.
allow that right now.
into other, doesn't it say it needs to be?
If you have a fenced in backyard, for example,
Oh.
they can roam the whole backyard.
Yeah,
We changed that too. That was part of the change that we made. So that's why I'm, I see this and that's why I asked you to come here because this is where we try to work through the concerns because this one would be difficult to get through right now. All right, so then, so let's go talk, 2 is what you really want to focus on, right?
yes,
So when you look at that 1 bird per square foot, you have 10 birds in a 55 square foot. And this is coming from your email.
yeah, my husband's email, I
Okay,
remember.
so that's already in violation, not only in violation of the 6 one now, if we passed yours, you'd still be.
Ours
it'd still be
is
in
over
violation.
60, and so we're just we're just within the realm, like this fits within our realm, but the coop we purchased recommended 14 to 20. So
Okay.
like,
Yeah, I'm not an expert in this, I'm just going for, so when you looked at that, it is 1 bird for 6 square feet, and if you do basically 100 square feet, which made sense to me, because that is our standard
Yeah.
for structures and the 25 feet and everything, that stays consistent. But if you do the math on that, that would allow you to have 16, right?
correct, yeah.
But you wanna use that formula, but then you pick 12.
To maintain. To keep it, not an excessive number, I suppose. The feedback I got from the village board was to set a true limit on it.
No, I agree, we need to have
Yeah.
a number, but part of that is you're building a case for building a structure that's 100 feet. A chicken needs 6 square feet, so 6 times 16 is 96 square feet, so you can do 16. That would be the number, but then you come with 12, so I'm wondering, what is the number, the magic number of 12? Why 12?
It was just to manage the size of the flock.
Okay. Well. Okay,
Because like when we got our coop, if they say 14 on, the size that we have. I mean, you could say 16, I'm
no, I'm not, I'm not trying, I'm not in favor of that, I'm not in favor, I was nervous about going to 6. Because, the idea is to have them, like you say, for your family. Once you start getting up, I mean, you look at 12 chickens at 200 eggs a year, that's 2,400. Could be up to 3,600 eggs, that's almost a production. Now,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, it's not like a garden or something, I mean,
yeah,
it's major, so I'm more hesitant to get up to that number, just to be honest with you, but I'm trying to use, this is a formula that makes sense to get to a number.
mhm,
So I could see, if we did,
That should say
8.
17, or it should say 72 fair, like the math should. match.
yeah, the math should equal, because you did with the 6, 36, 6. So you see where I'm
yeah.
coming
but
from?
you could still put them in, I suppose you could do 72 and then be assumed you could still have the 100 square
Yes.
foot but you're gonna limit it at.
Right, but we're coming up with a justification, because the enforcement part is what's needed. Just like right now, if we came up to you and said, hey, you gotta get rid of 4 chickens, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I didn't want to, I came to you guys.
Well, that's my whole point, and we don't wanna be in that position, and I know there are coops that are not. in, following the 25 feet also, But again, if people don't complain, and obviously someone did count, right? So we have to come up with something, but it's gotta be something that's enforceable and understandable. And I don't think this is quite there yet. So, I guess, and I'd like to hear from other members. Yeah, Bill?
Okay, so did a bit of research for what our other communities are doing. And I got about a dozen here, I wanna go through all of them.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the unincorporated Dane County area, they allow 8 female fowl. They don't designate chickens or ducks, but they say fowl. City of Madison allows up to 8 hens. They don't give any other specification other than 8 hens. Village of Wanakee allows up to 4 hens. Sun Prairie allows 4 hens. Verona is 4 hens under an acre and 8 hens over an acre. DeForest is 6 hens. Stoughton is 4 hens. Pittsburgh was up to 25 chickens per acre.
Wow.
Yeah, per acre, because they have a lot of agriculture. They have the whole township.
Right. Village of Shorewood Hills up to 4 hens. Black Earth is 4 hens. And the city of Middleton, which I really like this one actually, is 6 hens up to a half an acre and 8 over a half an acre. So that's where they distinguish it as acreage size rather than coop size. Because one of the things, and that's all I have as far as numbers, one of the things I believe we talked about though, is we're talking about a coop on a property, so it could be not only a single family residence, but it could also be a duplex or townhouse or something like that. So we want to be mindful of, other areas within the village that, may want chickens, hobby chickens like, you're using for your meals. But we also want to be respectful of, other single family duplex apartments and that type of thing, to make sure that we're not overburdening the community. So.
And that was the other change. Remember the first time we didn't allow it on rental. We
Correct.
had a home.
Right.
So we have modified this and for reasons. So that's some good data. All right, Seth? Thoughts?
I don't have a problem with the way it's written as far as enforceability. It's pretty clear to me. It's 1 per 6 with a maximum of 12. If 12 is not the right maximum, well, I don't see an issue with, well, if it's at 80 something and you go by 6, it's very clear to me. You go 1 to 6, but then you hit a limit, whatever that limit may be. 12 seems kind of high, but no, we had in the 4 years we've had this, how many complaints have we had from residents about chickens and ducks so far?
Well, I don't know how many formal, but I do get, there are certain people, there is part of our population that don't think we should have farm animals in the village. And then there are some people that have allowed their chickens to roam, so they are in neighborhood. And I've heard that. They don't want any enforcement, they just wanna let me know that this is happening. So, and is it a big deal if there's a chicken in your yard? They probably not. Would they prefer that people follow the ordinance? Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not something they're gonna call the cops on, or, because they don't think, they know Carly's very busy and the police are very busy. Is it really worth making a phone call because there's a chicken in your backyard? So, but it doesn't play away that, not everybody likes it. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
I'm all for more chickens, ducks. I'm sure there's a limit. We should probably be cognizant of that. If I'm looking at the redraft of section 21.11, I would leave A the same and change B1 and B2 as listed here. I think if you wanted to say 10, I'd be okay with that. And I want to put that in perspective. Let's say it was 10, that would be an area 6 feet table by 10 feet. this is like the area we're talking here, so
Mhm.
all in all, it's a pretty small area for 10 or even 12 if you went 2 feet back chickens, and so. Any size lot, half acre or less, has that kind of space where you can put a swing set, is where you can put a chicken coop.
Yeah, Tim, I'll let you go.
No, I was gonna say, I agree with the formula and then do have to have a maximum we put on it and either 10 would be acceptable to me.
Agreed.
Alright. Cause just so you know, it's not so much the coop size that is, once you get to a certain number, there does become a potential of, if it's not cared for, a smell, a negative smell. Even though they're not roosters, I think when I take my walk, I can tell you what houses have chickens, I can hear them clucking and you know, 4 of them. That's not, you get a higher number, that becomes louder. You know, just, there's other things to take in as you increase the number. There's other things that besides the size of the coop that matters. So I just wanna. All right, Bill and then Seth.
I would have a problem going up to 12. I really would. I think 12 is way excessive, for any lot pretty much within our village limits. I guess, I would be comfortable going up to 8.
Seth?
I was just saying, I forgot to comment on Bill and Rita. It's not written here, but I'm not in favor of something that's varies by lot size. I just think that's too much.
Calculations?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
Easy enforcement.
all right, should we try to clean this up and then bring it back, or?
Yeah, we also can't act on it because we have to have a public hearing.
Oh, that's
So-
right.
So, I mean, you can have it come back if, yeah. Mhm.
All right. Do you have some feedback, and are you interested in modifying this, or do you want us to take a shot at it?
Sure, I can modify it, you guys can change it as you see fit.
All right, if you would do that, that would be great, and then we'll do a public hearing at the next meeting.
Mhm.
And then we'll move it in from there. So,
Sounds great, thank you.
yeah, thank you for putting the time into it.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Number 3, discussion and possible action regarding March Stone Phase 1 final plat. I'm not gonna, the northern portion of the former Plastic Ingenuity property site submitted by JEKY LLC. Regarding, a number of parcels, I'm not gonna read them all. So we're gonna go, we'll take each one. We have A through D, and then we have, under A, we have Roman numeral 1 through 6.
Yep.
So we will start with A Roman numeral 1, which is a public hearing regarding items 2 through 6. Do I have a motion to go into public hearing?
I'll make the motion to go in the public hearing for the, Marchstone Phase 1 final plat.
Do I have
Second.
a second? Does this have to be a roll call?
Yes.
No, it does. Okay,
Yes.
Thank you. Roll call, vote please.
Commissioner Cree,
Yes.
Commissioner Hillebrand,
Yes.
Trustee Brochus,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Thusius.
Yes,
Trustee Kettlebeater. And President Langfeld.
Yes, so we are now in public hearing. Would anybody like speak during the public hearing?
So this is for all of the proposed zoning map amendments that are outlined here. I'll see if there's anyone online. If there's anyone online, please raise your hand for the public hearing. And we have no one.
All right. So again, we'll offer public hearing is open if anybody would like to speak. Right, Michael? Did you want to speak?
Yeah, I think I did have a question. Sorry.
No, I have a question.
Sorry. Oh, no, no, this is everything. This is dealing even with the stuff that goes into plan development. Is that what you said?
It's all of the zoning map amendments, yep. So are you looking at
Those
number 4?
266.
Yeah, okay. I did have a question concerning, for the plan developed for the general implementation and the specific implementation plan to allow for reduction of the street side setbacks. Inside of those general and specific implementation plans, it says they're just requesting the setback, but inside of the specific and general implementation plan, they say that they don't have to submit architectural drawings for the building. That's for the specific implementation plan, but I think you still have to submit those when you try to build on the property. It was read very weird inside of the general and specific, and they also said they don't have to submit landscaping plans where it was very bizarre inside of, because they cite per the ordinance and it was confusing me. And there wasn't a response from our planner in there whether or not they were interpreting our plan development ordinance correctly.
Okay, just help me out. So we're talking about number 4,
Yes,
right? Is that correct?
yes, that's what I'm speaking to.
Yeah.
Because they submitted a general development plan and it's was, and the SIP inside of the packet, but I didn't
Yep.
see like a response from our planner concerning, because I was then going back and reading the like what it says for a plan development, and like for the plan development, it says if it's going to be like a single residential house, you don't have to submit an architectural plan. But that's for the specific implementation plan. I think when you actually build a house, you still have to make sure it meets all the other setbacks. And I'm not sure they were interpreting it that way. I could be over reading this, because I do
Alright,
that
so-
sometimes.
We also do
Yeah.
have Sonia on.
Yeah, but hold. We'll get your comment, and then when I'm writing that down.
Yep.
And then we'll talk to Sonia when we get to that item.
Sounds
I
good.
do not wanna bounce back and forth, because we'll lose track.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect.
we will try to get that clarified when we get to number 4.
Yeah, it just kind of read inside of the specific and general implementation
Right.
plan that they submitted, because I was just like, I think they're just wanting to set that, but now they're saying they don't have to abide by landscaping requirements and architectural submittals on these properties, and I just got confused,
Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
We'll clear it up.
that's all.
Anybody else? All right, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. All right, we're going on to number 2 then. Review and recommend a zoning map amendment for lots to be rezoned to DR6, proposed lot numbers 14 through 19, 22 through 41, 42 through 49, and 50 through 61 of the submitted final plat dated September 5th, 2025. You guys wanna? Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question about
Go.
this?
Absolutely.
So you're talking about DR6. And I don't understand what a 2-family twin home site is.
It's a
What-
0 lot line. It's like a duplex, but it's 0 lot line.
Cause I didn't see that definition within our ordinance, it's so that,
Maybe that's just a term. That's what we used to call them. I don't know what they're called right now. Maybe this is. I'm sure Sonia can probably answer what. But it's basically where you can have ownership of each side. Without obviously it's a duplex that people can own both sides.
sure, but that's. I'm sorry, but that's building to building, but you still have your setbacks on the side, the other
Right.
properties in the front and back.
Yes, correct.
You're just talking no 0 lot line between the two.
Yeah, people can own a home
Yeah,
without, yeah.
Okay, so what?
I think that's my,
Right.
2 separate lots.
So what's the difference between that and a duplex.
Yep,
Yes.
Yes.
You just have different minimum lot size requirements for the twin home versus the duplex. So, for example, the light purple, the twin home lots, they have a minimum square footage of, I think it's 6,000 square feet per. 6,600, and then the duplex lot, we spit them on there, has a minimum of 12,000 per duplex, so
Mhm.
it's just a different lot area requirement.
Okay.
So the reason that some of those are duplexes is just because of how the lot widths laid out, from an
Okay.
area perspective. Few of them just line up to be duplex for area perspective versus twin home lots.
Awesome. Thank you, because I didn't know what that meant. So appreciate that. That's what I got for now.
all right.
I got more.
Do you need anything else? Anybody need any clarification on two? Okay. Is this something you want us to pass individually? Is that
Yes,
how you're
I
looking
believe
at this?
everything should be individual. Is that right, Sonia? We should have a vote on each of these items separately?
Yes, for each of the rezoning actions and the final plat, separate motions.
Great, thanks,
Okay,
Sonia.
very good, thank you. All right, do I have a motion?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I got one more question.
sure.
Lot 46 and 47. I just had a question. Do they meet the minimum requirements for VR6? I don't know why I asked that question, but I was going through the notes and
In a previous iteration of it, they were a little narrower than what was allowed. We've updated that in the final plat edition here to make sure they meet the minimum. requirements.
okay, that's probably where I saw that.
It was a comment from Sony that,
Yeah.
yep,
Okay.
correct. Yeah, we've addressed that in the final plat.
Perfect. No.
Well, that's what, we can still, there's still time, we have discussion yet.
No,
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to,
Recommend.
recommend, right, the zoning map amendment for lots zone DR6 for lot numbers 14 through 19, 22 to 41, 42 to 49, and 50 through 61 of the submittal final plat.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, do I have discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. All opposed, same. All right. Number 3, review and recommend a zoning map amendment for lots to be zoned to SR5. Proposed lot numbers 1 through 5, 6 through 8, 10 through 11, 63 through 65, 67 through 81, 83 through 88, 89 through 90, 93 through 101, 103 through 108, 114 through 126 of submitted final plat dated September 5th, 2025. And I take this is just our residential zone.
Yep, this is just single family residential.
Yeah.
All right, any questions on that?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I have one. It doesn't fit in any of the things that we're talking about tonight, but I just have a question about the final plat, and I guess this is a good place to ask it. And if not, if there's a different place, let me know, but
Yeah.
I'm looking at the street, with the streets that you have within the phase 1 of Markstone. Do you, and maybe Seth might have a better understanding of this being a, track kind of person, but are there stop signs and ways of, moving traffic through that subdivision? 'Cause I didn't see, I was looking for that, but I just didn't see that.
There is a signing plan, page in there.
There is a setting plan.
So basically, it's Marchstone and Evergreen, four-way stop,
Okay,
and then everything else is a two-way or side street stop, so like Marchstone doesn't stop anywhere else.
that's kind of what I thought was
Other,
gonna
other
happen.
than at Tennis,
Yeah, right.
so the side streets stop at Marchstone, and then side street stop at Evergreen. Like right where Evergreen ends now.
So
You're
Evergreen,
coming from the middle
Marshall, and
school.
four-way.
Yeah, that would be a four-way, but as you're coming from the middle school, the first street is Lindale.
Yeah.
Lindale would stop.
Okay,
Evergreen would continue. And then the little loop streets.
the loop, right.
Both ends, you know.
Right,
But yes, Marchstone is primarily the only place it stops is always stop at Evergreen.
okay.
So the major street. So to me, it made logical sense.
It makes sense also, I just did, I was looking for that specifically.
Yeah, it's, there is one page in there with a signing plan.
I'm sure they, there's a piece.
Yeah, it's probably 875 to 870.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I mean,
Go ahead, Seth.
I guess that's a good question, because there's a couple things I had specific on there, but for just there's general concerns about things like that, I don't know. What of these, would those all be held till the final plat?
I would, if it doesn't fit in Roman numeral through 6 or A through D,
Yeah,
then you would do it at D.
okay,
Okay,
that's fine,
That would make it easier.
yes, I will hold
All right,
comments. Unless I do have one on.
sure,
But now,
absolutely,
we're on number 3.
correct.
Yep.
You're good on 3, okay.
Perfect.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to, recommend, there we go, it's right there. Zoning map amendment for lots to be rezoned to SR5. The proposed lot numbers are 1 through 5, 6 through 8, 10 through 11, 63 through 65. 67 through 81, 83 through 88, 89 and 90, 93 through 101, 103 through 108, 114 and 126. Of the submittal final plat dated September 5th, 2025.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right. I have a motion and a second, discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same, so moved. All right, we'll go to number 4. Review and recommend a zoning map amendment for plan development zoning, including a general development plan and specific implementation plan to allow for a reduction in the street setbacks on 11 single-family corner lots from 25 to 13 feet, proposed lot numbers 9, 12 through 13, 66, 82, 91 through 92, 102, 109 through 110, and 113 of the submittal final plat dated September 5th, 2025. Sonia, can you please, if you can, address Michael's concern on this one?
I believe the question was about whether architectural plans were required for these properties in particular. As they're submitting a request for plan development overlay, which has 2 parts, the general development plan and the specific implementation plan. Those are the zoning steps to implement plan development zoning. And the code that I just opened up says that architectural plans are required except for conventional single family. So that is from the zoning code that they do not need to submit architectural elevations. However, Michael's correct that when you pull a building permit, you do need to submit building plans and detailed site plans showing setbacks and things like that. So I think that answers the question. Elevations are not required right now at this step, but they are required prior to pulling a building permit.
All right, that sounded like it was a great answer and he's satisfied with that, so thank
Excellent.
you.
Okay.
All right, Seth?
But then it also says landscaping plans will not be required by village or residents, but they're gonna have to meet the landscaping code ordinance also, like that is an exemption at all, also, it's just.
Right, but it's when it happens.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, the setbacks, I know when this first came up, I asked about, you know, if you wanted to define which side, because these are all corner lots. And so there was no, you want to have a flexibility, and I'm okay with that. Just want to make sure, the way I'm reading this correctly, that this 13 feet only applies to one of the two sides, right? So there will still be, whatever side ends up being the front, based on where the driveway or how the road is, or the building is situated, that will still have the front yard.
Yeah.
Right? So we're not talking about reducing both to 13. It's just one is 13, the other would still have the normal front.
Yeah, my understanding is the front, wherever the well, I would think we would want it wherever the driveway is.
Well, that's what we call the front. I guess, I don't know, I just want to make sure it wasn't 13 on both.
Right, right.
Then I'm good.
No, I mean, it would typically be you'd have your front setback. And then, which is 25 feet, yeah, and then the side yard would be the 13. Right, it wouldn't be 13, it would be 25.
I just want to make sure, like, some of the way this is worded, that's ultimately how it will be enforced and interpreted. So.
So when you heard that discussion, is that correct, that it's worded well enough to enforce that one side would be the 25, the other would be the 13?
Yes, and it's defined specifically, you know, the street yard setback is only one of those sides and can't be, you know, flipped to the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
And the back is still 25 feet?
Yes.
Okay, great.
All right, any other questions? All right, can I have a motion, please?
I'm getting good practice with this.
Yeah, we're getting all 129 lots.
I will recommend, the zoning map amendment for the plan development zoning, including a general development plan specific implementation plan to allow for reduction in the street side setbacks on 11 single family corner lots from 25 to 13 feet. Proposed lot numbers will be 9, 12 and 13, 66, 82, 91 and 92, 102, 109, 110, and 113 of the submitted final plat dated September 5th, 2025.
All right, I have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. So moved. Number 5, review and recommend a zoning map amendment for all public outlots planned for stormwater management purposes to be zoned conservancy. Proposed outlot numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the submitted final plat dated September 5th, 2025. Anybody got any, Bill?
I have a couple questions about this. On page 26 of our packet, there's a letter from Wiser that says that there are 10 outlots, but they put phase 1 including 126 residential lots and 10 outlots, but there's only 7 outlots, right?
Oh, the other ones I'm guessing are the ones that are being developed in the future.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna be zoned conservancy.
Yeah, see that, that
Yep.
middle map there.
But
So there's 2 outlots that are reserved for future residential development and 2 outlots that are reserved for future golf course developments. So that's 8, 9, and 10.
Where is that? That's in the yellow area?
Yes, yeah, there's 3 total outlots there.
Oh,
You can see the lines.
2 for golf course, 1 for future residential.
Okay, all right, perfect, thank you. Then. On page 140. Never mind. Never mind. That's all I got for outlets. So I'm good.
Anybody else have any questions? All right, can I have a motion, please?
I get bill break. Make a motion, to recommend zoning map amendment for all public outlots planned for stormwater management purposes to be zoned conservancy. Proposed outlot numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 of submitted final plat dated September 5th, 2025.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and seconds, discussions. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same. All right, number 6, review and recommend a zoning map amendment for all outlots reserved for future development to be zoned rural holding 35. Proposed outlot numbers 134, 135, and 136 of the submittal final plat dated September 5th, 2025.
And those with yellow highlighted.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, where are they labeled?
On the final plat.
On the final plat. All the numbers are on the final plat. Which is page, yep, 841.
I do think those numbers should be revised, outlots 8, 9, and 10.
I was gonna say something,
Okay.
but I was, cause you kind of mentioned
Yeah, I
one,
think this sheet went, yeah, I'll have to check that.
yeah.
Okay, 'cause,
And
yeah, they
this
weren't
is
labeled
carried
on the-
From the lot numbering of the lots that you have for phase 1, but I agree, if they're outlots right now, they should fall in with the outlot numbers.
Yeah, I believe it should be outlots 8, 9, and 10, not
Okay.
4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? So,
Talking about.
what's that?
Yes, I was curious about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we make this motion, if we can, change the 134, 135, and 136, 8, 9, and 10.
I will make a motion to recommend the zoning map amendment for all outlots reserved for future development to be zoned rural holding 35. Proposed outlot numbers 8, 9, and 10 of the submitted final plat dated September 5th, 2025.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? So help me out, does it have, what's on the current, the plat that was that we just said, September 5th, 2025, what numbers does it have? Does it have the,
8, 9, and 10.
it does? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, no, the version that was submitted on September 5th, I believe, would have the older numbers, the revision that
Okay.
was submitted should have been correct.
Okay,
I think that the document that was on October 8th.
Okay.
Should be updated to show 8, 9, and 10 for those outlots.
Okay, on this plat.
all right, so can we, when you make the motion, October 8th, you said?
I believe
So
so.
a revised, so it's a revised
Yeah, I'll throw it
plat
back.
dated October 8th.
Yes. That should be the date for this recent.
Yeah, that's what we said.
I just wanna make sure we get it right.
Yeah.
So I think what we have to do is because there's already a motion.
No, there's no motion, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's it.
Oh,
We're in discussion.
So we'll have to make another motion just to change that date to October.
so we need an amendment?
We need an amendment.
We first need, amended,
Motion.
yeah,
So I'll make a motion to amend. This, motion to reflect for the rural holding 35. To reflect the final plat that was dated October 8th, 2025.
with
With the
the,
lot numbers of 8, 9, and 10.
okay, so that's what we're gonna vote on first.
Well, need a second.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
second that.
okay,
Okay.
discussion. Now we vote on this, all in favor, say aye. Aye, all opposed, same. So now Seth's motion has this new information in it. All right, any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye. Aye, all opposed, same, so moved. All right, good. All right, so we're done with that, we're going to B now. Review and recommend a waiver from section 83.83 sub C of the subdivision code to formalize allowing lot areas smaller than 9,600 square feet with at the building and frontage on the public street per the zoning code.
So these were two waivers, so I'm just pulling up my memo that I put together. Back in July, when the preliminary plat came before the plan commission and the village board in that same evening, these were the two waivers, that were contingent upon approval, for the preliminary, or for the approval of the final plat. So those two have to be voted on, these two waivers have to be voted on separately.
I'll make a motion to recommend a waiver from section 83.83 subsection C of the subdivision code to formalize allowing lot areas smaller than 9,600 square feet with at the building in frontage of a public street per zoning code.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Discussion? And this is similar to what we did at Creek Crossing. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. All right, C. Review and recommend a waiver from land dedication to allow for payment of fees in lieu of parkland dedication as outlined in section 83.12. Prior to final plat submittal, landowner shall enter into agreement with village regarding any fee payable in lieu of land dedication being an assessment upon the parcels within the subdivision.
Can we get some explanation on this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the one, allowing for a waiver. I think the second portion of this may need to be removed, per our discussion back in July. But this is the waiver to allow for payment of fees in lieu of dedicating land.
Can you explain that part in your memo 15B? That says the village board voted on something on 10/27.
15B. Yeah, so this was per the village board meeting on 10/27. So a waiver as part of the water infrastructure agreement that was voted on. The agreement was for a waiver of the fee in lieu of conservancy for Marchstone Phase 1. That was granted along with a waiver of the 3,445,204 in lieu of parkland dedication for Marchstone Phase 1. So the village board agreed to waive those the parkland dedication and the conservancy land dedication fees for Phase 1.
And so why is the plan commission voting on it today? If the board, do this already?
Because you still have to there still has to be an agreement that the fees in lieu are even an option. Because otherwise it's land dedication. So the fees, the parkland dedication is a requirement per the ordinance. So this is waiving that requirement and allowing for
But this
fees.
question, and it's a big question, is that if the board has already done it, why is it at plan and land?
Yeah, 'cause it was
statute
still-
says It has to go to plan first, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe my-
it was still, I have it left over from the July meeting. And so obviously, as of last month, that has changed. So I didn't know exactly if it needed to stay or if it needed to go. So that's why I just tried to put the
Yeah, let's just, I
clarification.
would think it only would have to, if it's by state statute, they have to come to plan commission, but Kevin's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Sonia, why don't you, if you can help us, does the plan commission even have to vote on this since the board voted last month to do this waiver?
I am playing a little bit of catch up because I haven't been a part of any of those board conversations regarding parkland fees. So I'm just going to give a general statement, which is if something is governed by the land division code, then the plan commission should make a recommendation on it to the board. So if this is needed to fulfill the plan commission's role as in making that recommendation, then the plan commission should vote on it. So it's in the land division code. And then when the board votes on it again on the final plat, then they would have the final vote. So board hasn't approved the final plat yet. So this is the plan commission's time to recommend that, including these details.
All right,
Yeah.
that makes sense to me.
And the board, voted to, I just wanna get this right.
Yeah.
Not collect any fees for in lieu of conservancy or land dedication, $450,000 roughly. But instead use that to pay for.
It's
water.
just waived. It's just waived.
It's waived, but you're right, it's part of the negotiations for the water system.
Was that done in a public meeting or was that done in closed session?
There was closed session and then they came out and
And we did it.
gave this.
Oh,
Because it did not show up on the 1027 agenda as an item about parkland dedication at all.
no, it wouldn't have, it should have came on as negotiations.
I guess it's
For
the
the
first
water
time
system.
that people are seeing this waived fee was right now at this meeting. So I definitely will be voting no on this one.
Okay,
I think it's, was done in poor taste and
all right.
definitely done not in what realm.
I thought we discussed it previously, because I think I voted against the waiver. I just think the parks has a plan, a master plan that says we're short so many acres in the master plan for parks. We're not gonna make any more land, so why are we giving up land in this case?
That was land, but this is dedication fees. In lieu
Well,
of-
but he's correct, they, since we didn't require land, then the alternative is for them to pay,
Fees.
right, fees.
Which we're not doing.
And that was part of the negotiation, and that is kind of fine, because that is exactly, I had your views too, I thought we should do it in public, but the attorney said no, and so that's the way we went. But can someone, make a motion here? Well, then I'll make a motion, to recommend a waiver from the land dedication to allow for payment of fees in lieu of parkland dedication as outlined in section 83.12. I think that's all we need in there. I'll go prior to final plat submittal, but they've already done that, so it doesn't really make any sense.
I'll second it to get discussion going.
All right, I have a motion and a second discussion.
Still looking for you. Go ahead, Bill.
Go ahead, Bill.
So, I did not vote for this. I was, as a village trustee, I thought this was a bad decision. I understand why you guys wanted this agreement. However, we're gonna talk about later on tonight that one of the things that our village residents want is more green space. And we just turned down a ton of green space. I mean, I know we're gonna get a golf course out of this eventually, however, that's not green space,
Okay.
that's not parkland dedication green space.
Okay, I think you're missing what this is saying.
No, because what this is saying is giving us money in lieu of,
For only phase one. So we're gonna get the money, which is 1.3 million for phase two and phase three and phase four and phase five and phase six. We're gonna get green space also at that point. There's all kinds of land, if you looked at their development along the golf course and forest areas that have talked about going for conservancy. So that is it. It's not like we're giving up for the whole development. It's just phase one.
Okay.
And I think people have to understand that. It's not waiving for everything. just phase one. We're talking about the final plat for phase one only.
Okay.
And if I could interject,
Sure.
that 1.3 was without, Carly, help me out, there's
Sure.
3 park plan requirements.
The playground improvement fee
We're
is the
still gonna
other.
pay that, which I believe is a couple $100,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So the total development will be upwards of $1.5 million for park. Expense or park fees. What I would tell you, you're gonna get 100 or 250 acre golf course. I would tell you, I'm all for, or we are all for, working out conservancy lands for those steep slopes. So, you know, I think this is really a minor part of the total development. And I don't know really what happens if this doesn't get approved. If we're basically done with this development. Because, I mean, we're really to the point where if this holds us up, we don't get your approval. I don't know that we can get board approval. And then I think we're done.
Well, the board has approved it. I mean, so
Yeah,
this,
so I don't know
this
the
is,
legalities of this.
yeah, I don't,
And
I'll find out Wednesday, but
Right.
the bottom line is this is one, it's a recommendation and the board has voted on this part that's tied to another agreement that we have. So we'll certainly work through it, but it's the recommendation of our planner to go through this. So to do this, and again, this is just a recommendation. That,
Just to make sure I'm understanding. So I get if we're not dedicating land, which we discussed previously, that our land they would pay fees for that. So I don't understand, I guess, what happened at the board meeting. So what we're saying is part of the negotiation for the water thing, is they're not
Yes.
gonna pay that either. And that's gonna be.
no, we have a deal with the water. It's basically they're gonna pay 51 million and we're gonna pay 3.9.
Excuse me.
5.1.
Oh, 5.1, what did I, yeah. I guess I was having you redo my whole water system if I could get that. Yeah, so it's 5.1 million and we're paying 3 million, and that's part of the,
Negotiation.
So this 400 and whatever thousand. Not. Won't be paid, as part of that water agreement. We're not getting the 400 and whatever thousand that would normally.
correct,
Okay, I just don't
Correct.
understand what happened at the board meeting, that's where I was.
correct. Correct,
'Cause I don't have a problem with the concept of payment in lieu of park.
no, I don't think
And
anybody has
that's,
that,
you know, yeah, that's what we're voting on.
That's really what we're voting on.
right. It just,
The fact
I
that-
understand that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that's all we're voting on, is that?
Yes, you're not.
Normally, we have payment required, we're not requiring parkland dedication because there'd be a payment, then some other decision. Affects whether that,
Right.
or how that's,
Right.
okay, right, just.
And just, so you know, some of the, obviously, we just approved some of the areas outlawed our conservancy, so they did dedicate land. Not as much as what the ordinance.
Just for phase one,
Yeah, this is just phase one.
I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Make sure I understood what I was voting.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Thanks for reminding, us that, there will be some impact or some, fees coming or land coming on phase 2 and 3 and whatever else, that is important to note. I only agree, I guess my biggest complaint was more about process.
Oh.
That this showed up in a closed session that said nothing about parkland dedication at the board meeting, that's why I asked for them.
Right.
It's really-
It did come out, and when they came out, they voted
Yeah.
on each of these things separately, so.
So on the board for years, I understand that process, how that works, I get it. So I think process was the bigger problem I have. Secondly, I guess the playground fees have to be spent in 7 years, within 7 years, and it has in the past caused some issues for us, trying to spend it in time. This subdivision seems to be moving quicker, and maybe it will be, but there's nothing in phase 1, nowhere in phase 1 to spend it. So, I hope that we remember this, and if we get to that point, or when this is approved, that those fees, we somehow grant ourselves a little longer to use them.
Yeah, I actually think with the playground, it will probably be sooner than later, to be honest with you. Well,
We've got 7 years.
yeah, I think it'll be sooner than that, much sooner. There's already talk about it. All right, anything else? Well, I'm gonna do a roll call on this. This is too much. Have to guess who said what, so.
All right, Commissioner Cree,
Yeah.
Commissioner Hillenbrand,
Yes.
Trustee Brochus,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Thusius.
No.
Trustee Kettlebeater. President Langfeld.
Yes. All right. So now we're on D, review and recommend approval of the final plat. Seth, you had some questions you want to tie to this?
Yeah, the one question, specifically on the paths through, the streets here. I believe in the typical sections, it still shows that Glendale has a path on one side. But I believe in all the plan sheets, the path, like the existing path on Evergreen would continue on Evergreen to Marchstone and then go up Marchstone, and Glendale has sidewalks on both sides. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding that I'm where the paved paths will be.
Are you on a specific page in the packet?
Sorry.
Well, okay, sorry.
I think it's the first page of the typical sections.
Yeah, you're right, that the left side of the typical section didn't get reduced.
Yeah,
So it's just the black.
61 of
Oh,
83.
cool.
61.
Yeah, so that shows that Lindale Drive and 66-foot right away has a 10-foot path on one side. And then the 66-foot section of Marchstone doesn't show a path, but I believe the plans show the existing path on Evergreen would continue all the way to Marchstone and then run up the east side of Marchstone. Actually, there would be a path along the entire east side of Marchstone, all through the development, correct?
Correct.
So I just want to make sure that that's, I don't know if we need to. I mean, these are typical sections, so I don't know if we need to put anything in any sort of motion that needs to. Discrepancy needs to be fixed. I just wanted to ask, so the plan is the path would go Evergreen to Marchstone, right?
Yep.
Nothing on the Yellow or sidewalks, so it looks like.
Right, and then Evergreen, the south side of Evergreen has it.
Right, but I would put it in a motion just to make sure to recommend so the board knows. Cause I don't know, if Bill and I will remember that.
Right.
So I think it would be worthwhile to make a motion to recommend that it's clear on final plat that trail goes all the way through. Whatever wording would you be comfortable with?
Okay. The other related comment is, I believe. Right now, the section of Evergreen west of Lindale. That we connect to where Evergreen ends right now. So just that, I don't know what that distance is. I believe there's no sidewalk shown on the north side, and that's probably because there's no sidewalk when you get to Evergreen. On the north side.
Oh, the school side, right?
Yeah.
Where the school is, okay.
Now, there is a sidewalk about 200 feet onto the school property. On the north side of Evergreen. And so I thought, like, even though I understand if they put in a sidewalk on the north side of their part of Evergreen, right now it would just end.
Mhm.
And there would be a 200-foot gap. I didn't know if that should be, we should recommend that they. Put that in anyway, and then hopefully. Well, sometime down the line, whether it's on schools, we connect that.
Well, I actually thought talking to Bob Green. That they had an interest of doing that on their property to connect. And even put in a park or something right in that area.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought he would have brought that up at your meeting.
that, I don't think we talked about, because I know the path makes sense because the existing path is on the south side.
Yeah.
But just that small section west of Glendale on the north side of the street, is that correct? There's no sidewalk.
Correct, yeah,
shown?
yep. Just to, prevent that gap, because if you were to go to that into the dead end, the west side of Evergreen.
Yeah.
It falls off at like a 3-to-1 and goes down to that
Yeah.
valley.
I'm like, I'd hate to miss an opportunity because, now we can do something on the school property and to extend that, because, I'm thinking back to some more discussions, like, okay, kids that are coming in that are walking, coming from either this development or north of Finnis, and they come down and say they're walking on Wendell, are they gonna cross Evergreen, get along the path to go 300 feet west and then cross Evergreen again to go back north to the school? I just think that.
No, I hear what,
Yeah, so
I hear what
I
you're
don't
saying,
know
and I
how-
know Bob Green had mentioned that, and he had mentioned they may be getting some money from closing of one of the kids in Middleton, and there's a cash value on that.
Can I just add that I think that's a great idea to do that?
Yeah, because then if they
It just-
they put the.
No, it makes total sense.
Then we don't have that gap later.
And even if the kids use it and then walk on the grass or whatever at school, that's fine, but let's get them there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think it's a good idea.
thank you. And then, I do have some summary comments from the traffic committee in the event. I don't know if you want other people to have discussion first and come back, or should I? I don't think everyone.
Let's, let me ask you something here. I'm a little. Is it tied to the final plat?
Well.
Cause I don't wanna,
that's part of my-
I don't wanna get into trouble of discussing something that is not properly noticed. You
Well,
know, and there'd be lots of people interested in having that discussion.
That's part of, I'm not certain of that, because I know when I talked with Carl, there's the developers agreement, which. Is that there are all those conditions on approving the final plat, subject to 20 conditions.
Right.
And so if we're saying all of those have been met. And we approve this final plat, is this the last chance?
First of all, I don't
Us to make
think this group is looking at all those, are they? That's more the board, right?
Well, we're gonna discuss them. I mean, we're just gonna provide a status update, but there's not a vote on each item. But those are all a part of the final plat, so I just wanna provide a status update so everyone knows where we are on all of those other contingencies. But they don't have to be voted on.
I mean, Which a lot, from my perspective. It's, yes, like, I think ultimately, we wanna make sure that there's an opportunity. The comments we made before, during phase one, certainly. Phase two is gonna, that's
Yeah.
where the big issues kick in.
Right. So here's the thing. I'm not. Because that's a hot topic, I do not want that. I think that can be at the board, and then that stuff
Right.
should be separated.
Sure.
Because that is if the final plat is including all of that other stuff,
Mhm.
that is way too general. It has to be broken down like we did before.
Mhm.
For total notice, I
Right,
was thinking.
everything I think has to be voted on separately there.
Yes,
But here, I just have everything in my memo.
Yeah, I
Kind
saw
of with, so I don't know if we want to go through each thing or,
no,
okay,
'Cause we did.
perfect.
no.
Then we won't.
No, I think we need to stay general on the final plat, that is the documents that is. I think the rest of that stuff, if we wanna do it here, it should be placed on, and clearly, if traffic is one of them, oh boy, I don't know.
I mean, traffic wasn't on the initial one, so it's not on
Right.
this list that I have
Yeah.
here.
The only part, I guess, that there is, I wish I found the page. In the agreements, there's talk about. In the developer
Yeah.
agreement was included in here,
Yes.
Yeah.
and so it could be. Considered part of that, so I guess I didn't know if this was,
Yeah,
Mhm.
looking at the agenda items, I didn't know.
No, my
Right,
preference
I know.
is we don't, it's certainly,
Okay.
if we're gonna do this at the board, then every one of those have to be
Absolutely.
listed
Yep.
on the agenda.
It will be.
Instead of in the packet, so the first two, I think, fall right in. I would ask that we hold off on the traffic one. And hopefully you can report to the board
Okay, that,
on that. Hopefully, you got another meeting planned in between that?
well, I have, that's depending on how things went tonight and what, I knew what next was coming, so yes, if.
Well, our next meeting is the 24th of November. So
That's where this will come to the board.
correct. Yeah.
Can I just be clear on traffic? I mean, common sense tells me. Any comments you guys have from your committee pertaining to phase one should be brought up for phase one. It should be brought up. No traffic concerns, to me, should be talked about as they pertain to phase one. Cause what are we're gonna do a bunch of what ifs.
No, but I think, and I wasn't there, but Kyle, you were there, right?
Sure.
I think the discussion, if I read everything that has been, it was more of a broader discussion on the whole development. Or did we, or were a lot of those comments focused at just phase one?
It was,
The reason it's kind of confusing is. Phase one is where the street connections, like, where we're building the connection to Finnis, where we're built,
Yeah,
and so. If there's things that pertain to how those connections should be designed or things like that. To me, that seems appropriate for phase one. Yes, the impacts of some of these things, like. Do we need to put in a traffic signal at military? Like,
Yeah.
that might be not needed in phase one, in phase two, but there may be some issues that, like, when they're building the street. Like, the improvements they are making as part of phase one, like March Snow at Finnis. Like, if there are things there, it's like, well, if we wait till the phase two part.
oh, I see what
We
you're
miss the
saying.
opportunity because it's already been built in
Built.
phase one.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's where my confusion. And so, I totally get, like, I think a lot of the stuff that we discussed, and I think our group agreed that the heavy impacts are gonna be in future phases. Phase one may actually mitigate some problems at the existing roadway because some of the traffic is gonna shift to Finnis, which is good or bad, depending on your perspective. So, like I said, a lot of the impacts are, I just wanna make sure we don't miss an opportunity. Where if we approve phase one, now we come back later and say, oh, well, we should have taken care of that during phase one.
Yeah,
The
I
only,
think that.
go ahead.
I think the timing of that then would be probably more appropriate at the board meeting in November.
Okay.
Cause I am concerned that it hasn't been noticed unless
Right.
we wanna push this to December, but then everything else gets pushed. And I don't think we wanna do that.
We're done.
No.
Yeah, I agree with you that it needs to be discussed now, but I think the appropriate place would do it at the board level. And that would be part of the development agreement.
Mhm.
For some of those, if I'm hearing what you're talking about. And I, like, again, I don't know the detail, but that would be where the board would like to hear. And it'd be nice if, I don't, again, know if another meeting would help clarify some of that stuff. Or does everybody feel, everybody kind of knows what it is and then. There isn't gonna be compromise or changes to where people are coming from, I don't know.
Yeah, as a follow-up, we were required to do a traffic study.
Yep.
Which we did.
Yep.
And our phase one takes care of our total development. As it's been preliminarily presented to the village. Right?
Yep.
I don't know what more we're required to do.
I don't think right now there isn't a requirement right now, but I don't think because we did it in that state. And you did your traffic study that even, I don't remember. I don't know if your traffic study involved talking about a stop and go light at military and.
It talked about.
Okay, it was in that, right? So that may be something, right? So that may be something we wanna put in. Right? It's in your traffic study and we've talked about it. So, but we're not gonna say that for phase one. We're not gonna have phase one and say you need to put your light in right now.
Yeah, okay, I'm just confused what we're gonna do different at the board, because again, I think even that traffic study took into account more loss than we're gonna have. And I believe that traffic study basically said, you know, the current road system as is and planned is sufficient to handle our development with some minor adjustments.
Right,
So, you know, with all due respect to the committee, which I think is great, we're not saying not do it. But I just wanna, you know, get it out there that I don't know what more we can do as a developer to keep going backwards potentially on something that's already been discussed and approved.
I don't see it as going backwards, Jeff. It's a matter of when the stuff would be, like you say, you've made some modifications, you did, but some of those things have not been done, right? And what's that?
What do you mean, what hasn't been done?
Oh, okay, is it part of the agreement that you're gonna put a stop and go light at church and military? I'm just using that because that's the most obvious one, right? That's something, what if the board said, yeah, we want it now?
Okay.
That, like I say, I don't think there's a lot of things, I'm just trying to make sure that everybody has a clear understanding of everything, because obviously traffic has been one of the topics that have been discussed in the community, and I think we all need to be on the same playing field when we explain it, because if you don't, then you get a lot of rumors and a lot of other things that happen, and I can tell you that from experience. So it never hurts to get through and discuss everything, and I don't see this as a step backwards at all.
Well, let me just take it one more step further. Why wouldn't that have been a condition of the preliminary plat?
Well, you kind of want it to move really, really.
No.
I mean,
No, that's not an excuse.
Well,
The preliminary
look
plat,
at the conditions that generally that's a lot of conditions for a preliminary plan.
I disagree.
Okay, well, from my experience of doing 3 developments, this is a lot compared to what we've done in the past. And I think it's at staff meetings and everything, I think it's been very clear that this has been a little different than how we generally do the developments and how we do it. You know, this is the first one where we have huge outlots that have been undefined. You know, in a preliminary plat, right? I mean, we have what, I don't know, is that 80 acres we're talking about for phase one? Something like that, out of almost 500 acres. I mean, that's unusual. Most of the times when we do development, the whole development is planned out and it all goes through at one time. So this is a little different.
Well, you know, from our standpoint, though, we kind of go with the approvals in place.
Yeah.
And the requirements at each meeting.
Yep.
And, you know, for us to go backwards in a sense, because we have to do budgets.
Yeah,
So now if you're gonna come to us and say, well, you need to pay for $300,000 traffic signals. Well, you know, that's all part of our budgeting. And, you know, the question is, what's next?
Well, no, but and again, I think Seth has explained it very clearly. We're not requiring that in phase one, right? But you've chosen to do it in this manner that we can't commit to those 3 outlots, 8, 9, and 10, right? Until they come to the board and we go through it. There's a lot of issues we have to work through. Right now, we're focused on phase one. And that's why I really didn't want to get into the traffic too much because it's not there. But phase one, we've kind of worked out, right? And I think we have an agreement on that. But that doesn't mean we have an agreement on lots 8, 9, and 10 yet. Would you agree with that?
No.
Really?
Well, because I'm just being specific to traffic, okay?
Oh,
That's the only thing you've required us to do a traffic study.
Yep.
For the whole development.
yep, that's
And
fine.
we've given you a
Yep.
plan of
Okay.
the total development.
Mhm.
That if anything will be smaller in scale, lot wise, than what's presented, which should help the traffic study.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
So I guess what.
Okay, if you were just talking about traffic
That's all
only.
we talk.
Oh, okay, I always thought you were talking about the development in
Yeah,
general.
I just don't wanna go backwards on this traffic issue.
Gotcha.
About items that have already been discussed.
Yep.
At this level and at the board. And, really, I mean, cause we're kind of going on some trust here, both ways, don't get me wrong, I get it. And, we've said publicly that we're taking a risk for any future development, we continue to understand that. But the only known we have on this development is a traffic study. For the total 480 acres.
Correct.
That's the only known we have. And I just wanna make sure, cause there's a big elephant in the room pertaining to traffic. That could come in the future, and I just wanna make sure we don't go backwards, cause
Gotcha.
it's a deal breaker. We've said it since day one. I'll just flat out say, if it comes down to we have to do a road out to Highway 14, we're gonna have issues. Because we can't. And that's part of that committee. But I don't want those notes in that process to be part of the first phase. Right? If it comes later on, there's nothing we can do about it. But we, went through that already. And we're trusting the village. Of the determinations we've made over the last 6 to 8 months. Thank you.
Yep, pretty, no argument here. All right, Seth, anything else?
I'm just looking through my notes to make sure those things that were things that were specific to phase one. That, applied, so if anyone else has discussion.
I've got a couple of minor things. Well, Seth is looking for.
Okay, go ahead, Bill, and then Calvin.
Okay, sorry, on page 51, where you're kind of laying out the streets and kind of where we were at before. Again, this is minor, and I just don't understand what it is, there's a purple brick icon that's used on, I think it's for the outlots for the retention, but I'm not sure what that is, I looked for the legend what that is, I don't know what that's, yeah, but.
Yeah. So
What
it's
is that?
It's an overflow pond, so when these ponds are designed for certain level storm events. The overflow structure, that circle, that orange line work that's to the, above that purple.
Yeah.
That is a multi-stage outlet that is slowly discharging water out to reduce the rates of our subdivision. The larger storm events go through that purple area, and a 10-foot wide overflow is an emergency. And that purple is just a hatch that indicates turf reinforcement matting. So when that overflows, at some point it doesn't erode and create issues downstream for sediment.
So when I see it on the side of the road, are those just like culverts then? Is that what I'm looking at?
Is this a sheet you're looking at?
If,
Bill, or-
if you scroll down a little bit. A little more, going. Keep going, you're getting close. Yeah, you're going too far. Here, let me show you. I don't know if you can see that or not.
What page you got?
I'm on page,
62?
one,
I think if you.
let's see,
61.
61, 62. 62,
Is that over here?
Yeah, let's do that.
62.
Oh,
No, not that one. Go down one more page.
this one?
A little further down. Yeah, right there. So like over on the right hand side. Across the road, you have I don't know.
Yeah, so that would be the same thing so along the backyards of those residential lots in the outlot, there are small infiltration facilities.
Okay,
And on the downstream side of those, that entire length is to indicate that there is some reinforcement there, because that'll overflow in certain storm events down into that large channel. So it's just a protection matting to prevent erosion in the bay.
was that for the 25, 50, 100-year flood?
Correct.
That you're kind of looking at?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right.
And it protects again from eroding and then causing issues downstream, clogging culverts, things like that.
I assumed that's what they was, but I don't wanna, I wanted to just make sure I knew what I was looking at. And then, again, minor, in the covenants, in section 5.9. Zoom in on that.
What page are you looking at, Bill?
It's on page 123. You see, basically, no lot shall be subdivided except for prior written approval of the, association. Should we not include the village in that?
Well, I think that goes without saying. But first of all, the association will have to approve it, and they couldn't do it without the building.
Right, so that's why I didn't know if we wanted to.
No, we wanna stay away from covenants. If we get our name in there, then everybody's gonna look at us to do the enforcement part. And we have a long tradition that we do not get involved. That's a civil thing that they bring up to their board.
I believe there's one section here that does talk about the village and their covenants, but I don't remember where that was. I'm not concerned, I wasn't concerned about it, I didn't make a note of it. So,
Yeah.
and then just, again, I just don't understand what this is, starting on page 800. What is that?
That is a cross section of drainage way. This is a program called HECRES. It's a hydraulic modeling software.
Okay.
So we basically create cross sections through the existing drainage way on the site, model water through that, and determine the elevations through the site. And then we model the proposed condition with our actual created swales. We're comparing the water level elevations in the existing and proposed condition to ensure that the elevation at the farther northeasternmost property line
Okay,
doesn't increase, so that our development is not increasing any to tailwater conditions.
is this something that Carpsey would have looked at and approved, or Sonia would have looked at and approved?
Carpsey will look at it, the DNR will look at it, Brian specific, Town and Country Engineering.
Oh, Brian will look at it,
will
okay.
Look at it, yep,
Okay.
yeah, so there's 3 agencies.
Way above my head, I just was
Yeah.
kind of curious what that was.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you, that's really all the questions I have.
and actually, just as while you brought the question, if you zoom in on those cross sections, you can kind of see at the top where it says Enchanted Valley Reach 1, right? So we're taking these cross sections, and each one of these has a label that shows where it's taken.
Okay,
So it's just really just a, you walk from section to section up this stream, and it shows the water levels at each of these. One of the conditions of a flood study or a floodway study is that you can't increase the tailwater condition upstream.
so is that going from like 924 feet down to 910? That's shown, or?
Yeah, so it's, and you look at the main channel distance in the bottom. So
Yeah.
that's the distance horizontally, and then going up would be the topography, the elevation. So it's,
Okay,
starting from, upstream going downstream, here's a profile of the water elevations through the site.
okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you so much, yeah, appreciate it.
All right, Kevin?
Something Michael said earlier, Michael, about, our hillside zoning or our hillside ordinance. And struck me, is Sonia on? Oh, yeah.
Yep, she's.
Sonia, is any of this development, phase 1, does any of it have any of our hillside or qualify for our hillside zoning, which is, or hillside ordinance, I guess, which is, I think, 20%?
Phase 1 does not. There are all of those ordinances for steep slopes, so the hillside, hilltop, and woodland. And those will apply in future phases, but they're not applicable to what they're proposing here in phase 1.
Okay, I thought so, but, and then on top of that, for clarity, page 75 shows a borrow pit, which is in one of the outlots, 8, 9, or 10. It shows 10% as the sort of after borrow pit slope. And I can't imagine that's 20%, but are any of those ordinances affected by this area, this borrow pit?
Maybe the applicant could clarify, is that in the steep slope protection area?
It is not, we purposely kept it out of there to be able to clarity information to that.
Thank you.
Just for reference to on the sheet, the idea with this borrow pit really is to set this up for the future driving range area. So we're not, just creating a corridor here for nothing, it's for the future driving range area. There's a bit of an earthwork imbalance in the first phase. So we're using this to generate material from that area.
You hitting down or up, so?
hitting, obstacles.
You know.
Much shorter drives.
All right, anybody else? Beth?
So this didn't specifically come up in our meeting, but, I had a question, because it's in the developer's agreement for phase one. On page 52 of the packet, this is the streets and sidewalk section. It talks about, putting an RRFB in with pedestrian activation stop sign at mid-block intersection of Marchstone. I don't know where that is, because I didn't see it on plan sheet. So it's page 52 of the packet,
Oh, of our packet.
of our packet of 883. It's, I think, page 9 of the developers agreement. It's J5, streets and sidewalks. Yeah, so then item B there talks about installing an RFB, that's those the crosswalks and all the flashing yellow lights or push button. Just says at the mid-block intersection of Marchstone Boulevard. I was trying to figure out where that is, because I don't see that plan sheet.
So that doesn't cross Marshall, no. Yeah, I guess I hadn't seen that in there, but there is not a, there's not a mid-block crossing per se, that would not be at a stop condition one way or the other. Unless they're referring, that is referring to at June Park, Glendale and Marchstone, where you have to cross a non-stop condition with Marchstone. Here, right, Marchstone doesn't stop, so no.
And that's a comment from,
I think they were talking because there's that sidewalk that connects Marchstone over to that other road going. Yeah, going,
that
we go down halfway, there's that dry sidewalk that goes through. I think they were watching that wrapping beacon right there because it isn't a. Like, is it actually a stop sign there, or is it I think it's just to alert motorists if someone's crossing the road there.
Sure, yeah, currently there is not a crossing to be able to get across the road here, you come down, well, this way to the stop and.
Sonia, did you put that comment in, or was that Brian?
Repeat the comment, please.
Sorry, in the developers agreement,
That would have been Paul. It wouldn't have been Sonia or Brian.
Okay, thanks, Carly.
Oh, we get into traffic?
Well, I guess it could have been Brian.
It seems like it is pertaining to that mid-block sidewalk we have between the lots, but right now in the current plan, there is not a physical crossing with a curb cut or a sidewalk. to
like
get
where,
across.
like above the T in Marchstone, like your ass.
Yeah, that's thick.
Yes.
That's kind of what I thought, but I was like, yeah, it's like there's no,
Doesn't- yeah,
we're not,
cross.
there's no crosswalk.
But there is so at Marchstone, June Park and Glendale, Marchstone is a through
Right,
intersection.
yes,
So it's not a mid-block crossing, but there is a crossing there at a non-stop condition for Marchstone.
Right,
And
so I-
on the other,
yeah, so the reason.
So
I
I'll get
asked-
clarity on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a reason I was asking, like, okay, if we have the condition in there to put it in, that doesn't make sense. Well, if no one knows where it's going.
Yeah.
I was wondering if we would want to consider putting it
I put one on, thank you.
across this street.
Yeah.
At
I
Market
just said-
Court,
Yep.
Marchstone, at that intersection.
Yeah.
Now, I know, I understand there's no sidewalks to the north on Marvin Court.
No.
But this is where we want people that are walking from that subdivision coming in to this development, to the school, whatever, if that's where we want them crossing. Could that be a spot to have a beacon to help people cross interstate to those two sidewalks, or the path on one side, the sidewalk on the other side? Even though, again, I know, so then that would also require potentially a curb cut. Well, I guess I don't know, because right now you don't show curb cuts on Finnis because there's no crosswalks there.
right, right.
Um,
Yeah, so it would just go to the path. Right now, there's only a path
You're right.
outside of Break, right? So yeah, there's not a curb cut that would go there.
so I'm just trying to think of, is this an opportunity? But yeah, I was curious, like, okay, you're supposed to put an RFP in, where is that gonna go? But if.
The likely bus stop too.
Yeah, this is, yes, there's gonna be a sidewalk, there's not a plan to cross here, there's not a curb cut or
think City Valley had one, there's an ordinance.
Yeah,
You can't have X amount of feet without
without a way across. If you go up in the scenic valley, they have one of those on the real long road, you can cut across, and I think they actually put like the rapid, if someone's crossing, they can hit it, and so like. So I don't think it's a stop sign been blocked, but it fires off if somebody's
Yeah.
crossing the road, so cars know there's.
That's-
pedestrian in the
Usually,
road.
like, it's the ordinance that we can't have a block of certain length without.
It's not.
Right.
There need to be sidewalk in there.
Yeah, so. That's probably where it came from, so if the intent was maybe to put it at like some T in the word Merkstone. That might have been how this got, and then this was, oh, we need a crossing there, but we don't actually show, a crossing. A
Cause I.
crosswalk there.
Right.
I think at Scenic Valley, they have rapid beacons on both sides of the street, where that sidewalk ends on both sides. I need to go there and look, but I think it's not just on one street, it's on, it'll be on both sides, it'll be on Marshall and the upper one, they put flashers in if somebody's cutting through.
Now, I mean,
I think.
from my perspective. Like, this street's not so long that, like. What would be the pedestrian draw to cross at the T in Marchstone? Because it doesn't, there's no path on the west side.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a sidewalk on Marchstone, but you're not cutting through to Hillcroft or something.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it makes sense to have a pedestrian crosswalk there when you could go either way to to Evergreen or June across. So, yeah, cause I was confused where this RFP that's in the developer's agreement was gonna go.
And there's no path between Markstone and June Bark for that doctor line.
Well, that is a.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
but they're saying, why would someone cross Marchstone there? Why wouldn't you just go to the right or to the left on the sidewalk?
Walk down that path.
Right.
There's no reason you
Unless
need
you
to
live
cross
there.
that Marchstone unless you live in a house.
There's
across the street.
5 houses on June Bartville.
You would like to cross the street, hopefully in a crosswalk, either Evergreen or Junebug.
Charlie, you guys are gonna fine tune that developer agreement on
Yes,
next Wednesday or this Wednesday.
yes,
It's
yep.
not Something you guys.
I'll just add it to my list of
Okay.
things to bring up, yeah.
I just want to make sure that this wasn't the last chance to.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you, that's.
All right, anybody else? So Seth, I would like, at least on those two, you should probably do. Motion to recommend,
Mhm.
just so we don't lose them somewhere in between. I've already forgot what they were.
Why?
I had some sort of note.
I don't know if we
What were the first two that you talked about?
first one was to add a sidewalk on the north side of.
Oh, yeah, by the school there. And they have,
Between the western edge of the property and Lindale. Right,
South of some lot, we could just say, right?
East of, or south of left 13.
yeah, all right. And then that would be one. Why don't we go ahead with that?
Yeah,
so
go ahead
we
with that
don't
motion.
lose it.
I just make a motion to.
You'll make a motion to recommend that we add
Mhm.
a sidewalk.
You said it's not 13?
Yeah, okay.
I'll make a motion that we recommend the addition of a sidewalk on the north side of Evergreen Parkway to the south of lot 13.
Second.
All right, I have a motion, and a second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same, so moved. And what was your second one?
Oh, yes.
Thank you, I couldn't remember.
Make a motion to, confirm that that the typical section for Lindale Street and Marchstone Boulevard should be revised to indicate that the paved path goes along Evergreen and Marchstone and not Lindale.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. All right, good. Anything else on this?
I had a question at the beginning about the entrances. The old thing, I'll go by Marchstone and Philness.
Boulevard.
Yeah.
What was
The
the,
monuments, it's like.
oh, the sign you're talking
Yeah, 'cause
about,
the road-
oh, okay,
the road is
okay.
divided up there and there's a pool on
So
the
what-
ground, like, is
I-
that?
What do we do with current neighborhood? So a current, you know, I think Scenic Valley has a sign.
Scenic Valley has two signs.
Right, but who owns that?
I think that they kept some of the land, like the developer did, like it's not in the right of way. I am not 100% certain, but I think that he put them off on the side and retained some land so that it's on technically his property. I don't know, that needs to be checked, but it's not in the right of way, I don't. The sign, they're the signs for Scenic
I
Valley.
guess we'll
We'll
have
have
to
to
look.
look into that unless Sonia knows off the top of her head.
I can just let you
Sorry,
know.
I don't.
Okay.
We have boulevards just like this coming in off of Midtown side. And it's in the city right of way, but the association maintains.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that must be how Madison does, because almost all the neighborhoods.
So that's Madison actually.
Yeah,
Mhm.
have signs, but the neighborhood association.
Yeah.
Maintain them and replace them if they go through the process. Yes, so I don't, we'll have to just check on how that.
Yeah, we can also bring that up at staff meeting too to see if anyone
Yeah, I'm just
No.
trying to think, do we have other neighborhoods identified?
I think it's listed in the deed restrictions that the boulevards are the responsibility of the association and not the village.
Okay,
So it just kind of clarifies that, because before Jerry retired, he had said, I don't want, if they're gonna have these boulevards, these will be paved or concrete, so that there will not be any landscaping, no signage, X, Y, Z, so that no cost, essentially, like a sign, something happened to it, would come back to the village. That's why,
so it's in the deed,
it's
okay.
noted in those.
We just gotta clear that up.
Yeah, let's just clear that up.
Right, so, cause then like, when you get way down, further down Marshstone, there's swales in the middle of that road, is that village or association? Like, maintenance, like when you're at the other end, I mean.
So there's two entrances, that,
Right.
north of. To the northern section, if you will, coming off of Venice and south, there's a boulevard there. Then we also have a boulevard, at Evergreen as well.
Exactly, but now go further down, further south, that road opens up, Marshstone doesn't then open up and switch down there, it swales down there also. So
Boulevard.
who's maintaining those is another question.
Yeah, boulevards, that's what.
Okay, but it's in the
Yeah.
boulevard, I'm saying it's a swale. because
It's, you're talking, it's like,
No,
Laufenberg you're talking about.
Oh, that is gonna be curved.
Yeah, we
Oh,
are.
okay.
So it's not lowered, it's.
Oh, it's actually up.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not like Laufenberg actually,
No.
so it's gonna be a berm, so it's gonna be grass growing on
Yeah.
it. Yeah. But like, is the association maintaining those, that's like, what, and any landscaping at the top of the other,
Same thing.
or
Yep.
what have you?
For
Yeah,
me,
okay, I was just curious, cause village property was where, and then there's a sign and et cetera, and you said lighting, and there was some weird lighting and stuff.
Yeah.
That might not there, so.
Yep.
All right, are we ready, make a recommendation? Final plat?
Can I say one thing? I'm just throwing this out here. I know I'm not the village planner, but with you guys not approving that waiver, I believe you needed 6 positive votes to approve the waiver for the Fee and Little Parkland. Since it's in, if you read the section 80, chapter 83.
Who, the board needs that.
The plan commission needs a free force to even recommend it to the board if I'm reading it correctly.
Yeah, I think this needs to be looked at by the attorney. I was reviewing that too. 83.12, which is on the ordinance, refers to the park fee section of the land division ordinance. And within that section, it talks about the village board making a determination on whether park fees should be imposed. Then the section 83.120 is waivers and variances. If you approve a waiver and variance under 83.120, you do need 3/4 affirmative vote of the plan commission, which is 6 votes. I don't know which section applies here because I really haven't been involved in this and didn't look at that prior, but I think there's a possibility that you're okay under 83.12 without 6 votes.
All right, well, we have, huh?
6 votes, 3/4 of those present.
It says.
No, you need 6 votes no matter how many are here, so.
Right.
We had to cancel a meeting once when we only had 5.
Mm-hmm.
How are 8, how can you have 6 out of 8?
No, there's only 7 of us. 3/4 is 75%.
Of 7. I don't know what that meant. What's 3/4 of 7?
It's
More than us, not 5.
Come on.
5.25.
You got a smartphone.
5.4.
5.25, which can be
So
about 6.
yeah, you have to get 6 to,
Well, you don't go down, like 5.2 isn't 5.
just as a 3/4 affirmative vote of the entire membership.
Well, 5 votes would be less than 3/4 of the committee, so one.
figure about 15% for each vote.
And that's if this is under 83.120 or 83.12.
We'll bring that up to Paul on Wednesday.
Were we looking for a motion still on?
Yeah,
I got it, you want. Well, I'll make a motion to approve the final plat for phase 1 for Marchstone, subdivision. Something that.
all right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. All right,
Really looking forward to this, guys.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna adjourn.
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, I'm not, 6 is discussion regarding comprehensive plan update. I thought we had. both-
Yeah, well, I
Is
just
Jan-
put
Jan-
one more thing in the packet that I just wanted to mention that's in there.
Oh,
Becky took the raw data and put some graphs together, that kind of just to help you visualize the results of the survey. So we thought that would just be a little bit more helpful to you all. I'll send that and the raw data to you separately, but just so you have it. Yeah, that's all I wanted.
all right. Do I have a motion? To adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Well, let's take it. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, do I have a second?
9:30.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. So moved.